Rolling.
All right, well, I am 2, and so...
My name is Elena Sabatini, and I'm running for co-president of Welfare and Campaigns.
So, Elena, why did you decide to run for Welfare and Campaigns?
I decided to run for Welfare and Campaigns because I've volunteered for Nightline for the past 2 years, and this experience has made me really familiar with welfare issues that almost all students in London face, and that inspired me to run for Welfare and Campaigns. And there's a whole lot of things that I want to do. So, for instance, make the student union more accessible and more friendly, and a safe space to talk about issues. And also, I really want to increase awareness of the services that are available for students in London, and increase the student services capacity.
So, if you win and you have to choose one thing to be your legacy, so one policy or creation to put your efforts into, what would that be?
I think it would definitely be raising student services capacity. Currently, they offer an amazing amount of services, and what they do is really good. But currently, for instance, to access student services counselling, you have to wait at least 4 weeks, which you can imagine if you're going through a hard patch, 4 weeks can seem like forever. And also, if compared with other universities of our size, our student services are massively understaffed. So I think that getting more funding so that student services can hire more people would go a really long way as far as welfare is concerned. And as I volunteered for London Nightline, I was also fundraising officer, so I have quite a lot of experience with publicity and fundraising, so I can definitely put my skills to that.
Why do you think you're the best candidate for the role?
I think I'm the best candidate because of my experience with Nightline. I think that I have a big wealth of knowledge as far as welfare issues are concerned, and as far as what services students can access.
In your opinion, what's something the current Welfare and Campaigns officer has done well, and what's something that they haven't done so well?
Okay. I think that Leah has done an amazing job as far as mental health awareness goes. She's done so much, so for instance with the peer support scheme and the Mental Health and Wellbeing Day, and I think that's gone a long way in making SOAS a safer space, if not like a 100% safe space to discuss mental health issues, for instance. I think that what still could be improved is communication between individual students and societies and sabbatical officers, because currently I think that there's what needs to be done is a bit of trimming down of bureaucracy to improve communication channels and facilitate the work that students and societies put into organising events.
You've told me lots of things that you'd like to do if you win, but realistically, what's one thing that you know you'll be unable to do, and one thing that you'd refuse to do?
If I win the position, what I'd really like to do is work on handbooks to make it on different welfare issues, to make it easier for students to know where to go and ask for help if they're going through a certain issue. However, I am also aware of the fact that there's way too many issues for me to cover throughout an entire year. So much as I'd like to cover pretty much everything, I do know that I have to only focus on the most important topics. One thing if occupation should happen, for instance, next year, while I would completely back and support the students that decide to do so, and take care of their interests as far as SOAS management is concerned, etc. I don't agree with occupation as a mode of protesting unless it's in extreme circumstances. But that said, the students would have my complete backing, and I'd be doing my best to look after their interest.
You say you want to make the union more inclusive. In effect, how would you do that?
My main idea is to see what my schedule would look like on a weekly basis, and then based on that have at least 1 or 2 windows per week, which would be for students to just pop by. And I hope that having a space where they can speak freely about and share their opinion or whatever issue they're going through in a safe space will go a long way into making them feel more included within union life. And I think it would also really help, if need be, direction them towards the services they might be in need of.
How will you improve campaigns? Your manifesto talks about tangible goals.
Mm-hmm.
What would that mean? Could you give me an example?
Yeah, of course. So what I'd really like SOAS campaigns to move towards is a more modern form of campaigning, if you will. So that would include, for instance, signing e-petitions and writing mass emails to your MP and just surfing the blogosphere. I think that that, for one, would go a long way in incrementing the capacity for change of campaigns. But also, what I'd also really like to do is have, for maybe on a monthly basis, a campaign clinic where I and the campaign officer could sit down with students wanting to launch campaigns and have a bit of a health clinic, a campaign clinic. So maybe work out what their short-term goals are, what their long-term goals are, what their theory of change is, and all of these fancy terms. But just to give you an example, for instance, I think that as far as Justice for Cleaners goes, I think it could be a really good idea to focus the campaign on the outsourcing company, because I think there's only so much that SOAS management can do. And if we actually manage to get ISS to budge on some things, the capacity for change would be amazing, because it wouldn't just be the cleaners that are outsourced in SOAS, but it would be the cleaners from all of ISS.
Mm-hmm. So you would target ISS rather than trying to persuade SOAS management to bring the cleaners in-house?
I would like to try that as an approach. Also because SOAS management, while it is a problem and we also need to do something on that front, SOAS management currently doesn't have a great track record as far as hiring goes, and that's not just for the cleaners, that's for staff as well. We're losing quite a lot of personnel, and so currently if we can't get them to budge on actually hired staff, I see it as quite unlikely that we'll get them to budge for outsourced cleaners.